what's that? Out in space is a station with a T-Rex face. Firing lasers and playing games and killing all those herbivores. Out beyond the atmosphere, he's collecting stuff and striking fear. Come on board and grab a beer for gameplay vids and retro cheer. T-Rex Space Station.
Hi guys, it's Benny from T-Rex Space Station. How's everyone doing? Now, it wasn't that long ago when I posted a video called Are Modern Games Too Easy? Because I played a slew of video games that seemed to be far too simple. Not the least being Final Fantasy 15, which I thought was a very, very simple game with very little challenge to it. And I think that on the whole, I felt like the modern video game experience had a lot of hand-holding, a lot of tutorial, a lot of easing you in there, and focusing more on story and balance rather than on challenge. A lot of us who cut our teeth playing the old 16-bit and 8-bit era video games remember when video games were damn hard, and I guess that some of you are like me and kind of miss those days where games took a lot of practice and a lot of time for you to progress. There was something infuriating about that, but also something very fun and very rewarding. Now, I've been aware for some time that there are some franchises of modern video games that are known for being incredibly punishing, and Dark Souls is one of those series. Now, Dark Souls is a series that by all means I really should like, but for some reason it's just kind of passed me by and I couldn't get into. I played the first Dark Souls game on the 360, I dabbled with it, and I got frustrated and I stopped. And I guess there are kind of multiple aspects to the reason why I quit. As you guys will know, I'm a big fan of old school roguelike video games, and those are games that I play for hours on end and that really entertain me and that I remembered very fondly from the past, but I can still play to this day. I can still play games like Rogue that have got no graphics because of the sheer variety in the gameplay and the mechanics that are available to you. One of the things that's always kind of been a bugbear of mine or that's upset me is that we've never had a proper fully graphical, like a Skyrim level graphic roguelike, where you have a full interactive world that's randomly generated, and that when you die that's it and you have to start again, you have permadeath. I mean, I know that we've had games like Diablo 3 where you can play permadeath modes and things, and maybe things that have come kind of close to it, but I'm talking on the scale of like the original Rogue or of Add-on or something like that, or of NetHack in full modern gen graphics, and that would be amazing to me. I think that I've had a kind of prejudice towards the Dark Souls games because I wanted them to be that. I kind of hoped that they would be a proper randomized roguelike, and they just aren't. A lot of modern video games borrow aspects of roguelike video games, certain things like when you die that's it, or when you die you lose your items or your experience. And I think the Dark Souls games and Nioh also borrow some of those mechanics to add to the challenge. But for me, for the longest time, I just felt like they do it wrong. The thing that struck me the most about Dark Souls was that you'd get a certain way in the game, and then you'd die, and then you'd spawn back at the start point or the save point, and you'd have to keep going over and over and over the same small area of video game. And that's the thing that I couldn't get my head around. Part of the reason why I'm not bothered about dying in roguelikes is the fact that every time you die, you start afresh and new with a completely new world. Everything's completely different. You're invested in the character because you really don't want them to die and lose everything. But it's that variety and that turnover and that kind of circle of life that keeps it so engaging and so fascinating. It's really difficult playing Dark Souls style games and Nioh as well, because you feel like you're banging your head against a brick wall. And I really don't think I was ready for the level of challenge that Nioh had to offer me when I first bought it. Nioh is a really great example of a game because for me it's one of the first games in a long while that I've watched very little footage of, and I bought it purely on the back of amazing reviews. This game is getting 9s and 10 out of 10s across the board on multiple review sites, and everyone's raving about it. And I was kind of like, well, if it's getting such high reviews, it has to be good, right? I mean, it just has to be. Why would so many people love it? And so I bought it. I paid 40 quid for it, which is quite a lot for me buying a video game. I sat down and I instantly regretted it. I played it for a couple of hours on the first night and was like, holy shit, this is so hard. I simply couldn't believe the level of challenge in the game, and I suppose I should have known that given the fact that it's in a Dark Souls style, and it's by Team Ninja, who made the really balls-hard Ninja Gaiden games on the Xbox. I should have known all those things, but I just thought, well, you know, I'm into hard games, I'm into roguelikes, I can handle this. But it's like a level above the hardware you'd expect it to be. It's like it goes a little bit further than that, and I found it so infuriating. This is the first time that I've bought a video game and I've actually genuinely thought about returning it to the shop. I actually went back to CEX with my game and my receipt. I had a look around what I might trade it for, and I was umming and ahhing, and I very nearly took it back, and I thought, no, hang on. What if it's not the game? What if it's me? What if I'm not doing it right? What if I'm not interpreting it properly? And I decided just through sheer willpower to force myself to like it because of those reviews. This is a game like nothing else that I've ever played, really. It's a game that rewards persistence and that will punish you for fucking up. You have to keep trying over and over again until you just get better. To be honest with you, although I found that really annoying at first, after I chipped away at it over and over again, I've started to see the beauty in it, that real investment in every battle, because if you're not paying attention, you'll die. And it does bring back some of those feelings of playing old school Sega Mega Drive platformers that were balls hard. The thing with this is it's one of the first games that I've played where I've actually felt adrenaline pumping and my hands feeling shaky. When you get so far into a level and you know that if you die you're going to have to get back to that point to get your experience back, it genuinely is frightening. You're fully invested in the game because of how difficult it is. The enemies move so quickly and attack so savagely, you have to be paying attention to every single little tell and let that they might give you. But ultimately that is really engaging, and I've started to really see the appeal of this game. The second boss in the game took me by surprise. I couldn't believe how angry I was getting at it. I must have tried it 20 times the first time I encountered it. I played it for 2 hours and didn't get it past half health. And I just felt so disillusioned and despondent. I was like, there is no way I'm ever going to get past this. But if you're one of those people like me that's kind of stubborn, that's kind of like, no, hang on, there has to be a way to work this out, then you'll see the beauty in this game. Slowly over repeated playthroughs, I started to see the enemy's tells, I started to see its weak spots, I started to see the moments when you should attack and the moments when you should hold back. And the thing is, this is a game of patience. If you want to just run in and keep stabbing at the enemy, you'll probably die or get very highly damaged. Often you have to simply see a weak spot, do a couple of light attacks and then move back to safety. You've got to hedge your bets, you've got to be really careful, and that's not the way that I normally play video games. But it's rewarding to learn a completely new approach. So I would say if you've got a bit of a sucker for punishment kind of personality, but if you're one of those people who's determined and stubborn and want to learn new ways and can learn to be patient, this game is masterful. It's really amazing that they've got the balance of the combat so finely intertwined that there's a knife edge between you dying and between you being the victor. And that knife edge really consists of you paying attention and carefully blocking, carefully rolling, carefully attacking. It's a combat system like no other that I've played before, and it really is amazing and beautifully honed and beautifully crafted and balanced. You've got 3 different stances that have different advantages and disadvantages. You've got rolls, you've got different types of attacks and combos that you can unlock, but most of all you've simply got your eye and your reflexes. No matter what equipment you've got and how many abilities you've unlocked, it comes down really to your attention span, how much you're paying attention, how careful you are, how considered you are in your attacks. And to be honest, that is kind of amazing. What I would say is that even though I got so angry that I nearly quit, when I finally beat that second boss, when I finally surmounted it and kicked its ass and destroyed it after probably 4 hours of attempts because I wasn't very good at the game, it was an amazing feeling. It was a rewarding feeling like nothing else. The closest thing I can compare it to is beating an original Mega Drive game that you've been playing for weeks or months that you couldn't get past. Now, I think if you're already into Dark Souls, you probably won't have as much of a problem as I did. But because I'm not into those games, because this was something new, it just really did have that steep learning curve, such a steep learning curve that I just had to keep playing until I got it. It's not completely punishing in that roguelike sense, because if you die, you can get your experience points and stuff back if you get back to that point without dying. If you die before you get back to it, then it's all gone. So it's kind of a halfway house, but still, if you're dying far into the level and you haven't been to a shrine, you know, you're going to be feeling the pain of that, you really are. And that is that great feeling that I loved from roguelikes. I don't know, part of me just hopes that one day we'll have a game that looks and feels as good as this, that is truly a fully randomized, fully permadeath roguelike video game. I mean, it's amazing that Ancient Domains of Mystery now has a graphic tile set, but wouldn't it just be amazing to have Skyrim level graphics with a game of that level of nuance and detail? But for now, I need to get over that hang-up and see these games for what they are: punishing, beautiful, infuriating, but ultimately rewarding modern adventure games. So I would highly recommend Nioh if you've got the cash, because it's quite expensive at the moment, and most of all if you've got the patience and you want to learn something new. So those are my first impressions of Nioh. Let me know, guys, are you into the Dark Souls series? Have you played this game? Do you want to check it out? What do you think of it? Take care, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye.